Hello, class. Happy last day of classes. I thought I would do this video a little early for you guys. I usually give it on Thursday, but I thought last day of classes is something to celebrate. The article is about, does aspartame cause cancer? So aspartame is it's a sweetener, artificial sweetener, and what's interesting about our artificial sweeteners are that they're extremely sweet, much sweeter than sugar. Like if you ever go to a restaurant and you see like the little packets of things you can put into, like little packets of sweeteners, and like the artificial ones are really thin, they're really light, and the sugar is like really fat, and because a little bit of artificial sweetener makes things sweet. And there are some issues with them. And aspartame, what happens when our body metabolizes it? It turns it into two amino acids and methanol. And methanol's pretty toxic. But the idea is, well, what's the level of methanol? Is that enough? That's going to cause some damage. So, and it does, and that happens in our GI tract, gastrointestinal tract. And and the article also talks about differing things between the United States and Europe. We have different laws. Between U.S. and Europe. United States, for instance, has really strict air quality laws. Europe, on the other hand, has really strict water quality laws, and we both look at each other like, why, like, what, Europe, why is your air so dirty? And Europe's like, why is your water so dirty? It's kind of like go back and forth. Also, each state in the United States has different laws, just like each state, or each country, I should say, in Europe have different laws. So, but they are bound by the European Union, much like we in the United States are bound by a federal government. So it's interesting. It's interesting to see some of the legal ramifications. One of the ones I thought's kind of funny, there's a common beverage, whiskey called Fireball, and it's frowned upon in Europe because it has propylene glycol in it, and propylene glycol is pretty benign. But the other thing, if you get propylene glycol poisoning, one of the cures to propylene glycol poisoning is ethanol, which is in the whiskey. So I kind of, you're taking the poison and the cure all in one. Well, what about drinking diet sodas? What I thought I was also interesting at the end of the article, it says, all in all, and they also went over the numbers. You have to drink a lot of diet soda for this to start to become in the dangerous range. But I guess some people do drink a lot of soda. But in the end, I thought it was funny. It's better. We should think you should, if your only two options are a diet beverage and a sugar-sweetened beverage, we recommend the diet beverage. So even with all these, it's recommended that you take this. And it's about risk versus rewards. So good old back to economics, but a lot of things, are risks and rewards. And here's one of them. And also, what better way to start your finals than saying like, hey, this is something we don't know. It doesn't bother me at all for although I'm giving finals, I'm not taking them. But I think this is great. I like the curious nature, the questions that aren't answered, things that we like, things we thought that we knew that we don't really know. And so I enjoy that. So hopefully you take this as a joyful part that we don't have all the questions answered, so then we can answer them, and more puzzles to figure out, and more puzzles means more fun, right? So but as I mentioned before, finals is coming, and I personally I think you should be selfish in a self-preservation sort of a way. So final exams, final projects, these times are very stressful. I still have nightmares about being in a final exam. And it's been a long time since I was a full-time student, at least a full-time student taking classes full-time as well. So, it's a stressful time, and please recognize a stressful time. And what I mean by that, like look to a little more self-care. Everyone has things to do as well. If you have jobs and if you're a caretaker, you can't just say, guess what, Grandma? A chemistry teacher says I'm to take care of you for a week and a half. Like, I don't mean that, but I'm saying like, you know, don't volunteer for the extra shift at work. Don't volunteer to help your friend move. Spend that time to rejuvenate, recharge, to study. You can let your diet go a little bit. I mean, unless you know, I mean, unless there's a medical reason for it, right? You can't just like, well, I'm a celiac, but you know, I might as well start eating gluten now. That's a bad idea, you know. But like, you know, it's okay if you like McDonald's, if you like Taco Bell, go ahead and have a little extra this week. You know, these kind of things, like, you know, the little joys that get you going. So also find a way to like to escape. I found out that I really like the show Blue-Eyed Samurai on Netflix, so I've been watching that lately, and that's going to be my little escape this week. So, you know, I'm excited to watch that. So, although my stress tends to be after the finals and grading and that kind of stuff, but I mean, for you, you need to have some sort of little escape that you can do. So please keep that in mind. Also, let me know if you have any issues. You need any help with anything. The end of the semester is next Friday, so I can't really extend anything past then because the grades need to be in. And also, for Chem 100, there is no final. For Chem 161, there is a final. So that's, of course, the final is for next week. So let me know if you need anything, and I hope that this week and next week go as smoothly as possible. And I will come to call again next week as well, so this won't be the last video. It's probably the second last video, at least for the semester. I know some of my students tell me they subscribe to my YouTube channel and just listen to it, which is fine. I don't monetize this, so I mean, it's this is just, you know, for you guys, for my current students. So take care, happy studying, and aloha.